duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Every day, we are reminded that nothing is about us, it's about everyone else. And Sergeant Major Thomas has sacrificed 30 years of giving back to others. Now, we want to talk about some math about what 30 years really means. 1% of the Army really retires at 30 years. 1%. Now think about it. 1% or less of our nation actually serves. So for the 1%, less than the 1% that actually serves our country to come in the Army and do 30 years of service, 1% or less. That is an accomplishment and an achievement. Let's give Sergeant Major Jimmy Thomas a round of applause. With that, I'm going to read his bio, so bear with me because
a true announcement from the Confederate Congress. And the Confederates had argued that if any of these blacks be captured, they will be executed. Governor Andrews said at a closed ceremony, he said that all the history of any given thousand of men in arms committed at a work at once so proud, so precious, so full of hope and glory as the work committed to you. And that evening, the 54th Infantry boarded transport ships bound for Charleston, South Carolina. Colonel Shaw and his troops landed on Hilton Head, not far from here. And the next week, they were forced by Shaw's superiors to participate in a destructive raid on the little town of Darien, Georgia. And the reason I'm telling you about this part of the history is because it's right down the road from where we grew up. Shaw did not want to participate in destructive combat of innocent, unarmed people. His soldiers, black men, wanted to fight. So the colonel was furious after that little battle, and his troops, because his troops had came to the South to fight for freedom and injustice, and not to destroy undefended towns. But even as they fought to end slavery in the Confederacy, the African American soldiers of the 54th were fighting against just another injustice as well. See, the United States paid the white soldiers $13 a day. The black soldiers got 10. It pissed them off so bad that the white leaders and the black soldiers said, guess what? We'd rather fight for nothing than to yet fight another injustice. And the white superior said, guess what? We don't want to get paid either. That's what you call loyalty. That pay disparity was never equaled until long after the Civil War. And I won't get into the history about promotions, but I can tell you about these African-American sergeant majors I'm seeing sitting at the table. Nothing was given to my cousin, nothing was given to these men. The playing field is not always level, is what I'm trying to say. But on July 18th, 1863, the Massachusetts infantry prepared to storm Fort Wagner, which was guarded by the port of Charleston. And at dusk, Colonel Shaw and his men, he pulled his men together. He said, I want you to prove yourselves. And the Union members, they miscalculated the Confederates soldiers who waited at that fort. And 280 of the 654 soldiers were captured and killed. To the contempt of the 54th, the Confederate soldiers dumped all the black soldiers in one grave. And they stated, we want an unmarked grave and we will bury, and excuse the term, but I'm reading you history. We will bury these Union N-word lovers with their soldiers. So the 54th lost that battle at Wagner, but they did a great deal of damage, and the Confederate troops abandoned that fort soon after. For the next 2 years, the regiment participated in a series of successful siege operations in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. The 54th Massachusetts Infantry returned to Boston in September of 1865. Now, many of you may not know, but if you ever saw the movie Glory, Glory tells the story of the 54th Infantry, which won 3 Academy Awards. So you might ask, why did I give you this brief overview of the 54th Infantry? I'm trying to connect the lineage of our heritage to our military history. See, heritage is our background from which we come. The man being honored today is the son of a sharecropper, the son of a hardworking, proud, and generous man that was also oppressed by certain laws and traditions of the South. See, Uncle Jimmy was not a soldier, but a teacher. He was a mentor, a silent hero, and he instilled certain values in his children. Some of those same values Sergeant Major just spoke of, that it requires to be a leader in the military. You got to work hard, demand respect, even when it's not given. Be good to your fellow man, and above all else, be a helping hand instead of a handout. I remember hearing my mom and every aunt and uncle and cousin that I have, they would always say, well, we got to run out to Uncle Jimmy's. Because Uncle Jimmy and Aunt Juanita always had something for somebody. Bushel of peas, corn, it don't matter. Sometimes you just might need a shoulder to cry on. Uncle Jimmy and Aunt Juanita was always there. And he was always referred by family as Uncle Jimmy. And being an African-American man, I can tell you this. Everybody else called him Mr. Jimmy. It wasn't son. Hey there, Mr. That's respect. So achieving the rank of Sergeant Major is by means no easy task. The role of the Sergeant Major is being more like that of a chief of staff to the Army senior commander. You see, the Sergeant Major is directly responsible for the commanding officers, is responsible to the commanding officer for all matters pertaining to the dress, the deportment, the discipline, the conduct, the performance, standards, morale of the non-commissioned members in the unit. The United States holds a position of Sergeant Major in such high regard that on a daily average, there's no more than 1.2% of the total enlisted force to reach that grade. Sergeant Major again touched on some stats. I was sitting there, I almost thought he read my speech. Of that total force, there are 384,000 soldiers, which comes to 1.25%, which comes to actually out of 384,000, there are 3,400 of these gentlemen with these stars on their shoulder. That's giving you some numbers. That's telling you how elite, how much of an accomplishment it is for you to make the 1% cut. So today's mission includes national and international security, engaging enemy targets on the ground, aerial missions, to dropping troops in the hard-react areas, large-scale transportation supplies, humanitarian missions, delivering supplies, food, building schools, and more. See, leadership is the highest form of discipline, as it requires the leader to be the example, the ethical standard bearer, a warrior in battle, and a shoulder for the soldier to lean on in peacetime. And by the way, a lot of you may not know, you may not even be aware of some history that was made right here in Atchison County. Of the 1.3 million active duty servicemen and women in the United States, on 1 October 2016, 3 young men made the rank of E9. Frankie Poo Poo Moore, Chuck Thomas, and Sergeant Major Jimmy Thomas, in a proximity of 7 miles. I don't know, but I can guarantee you, nowhere else in the world has there been 3 men to achieve that grade in such a proximity. That I can assure you, that in itself is worthy of applause. Of the 22 million veterans in the United States, less than 10% retire. Sergeant Major Jimmy Thomas, be proud of your accomplishments and take the time necessary to properly bid farewell to the largest fraternity in the world. With only 7% of the Americans choosing the career of a professional soldier, you've distinguished yourself by rising to the highest enlisted rank possible, taking your place amongst the ranks of that 1.2% of our greatest leaders in a profession that has played such a vital role in the shaping of our nation, bringing peace around the globe. Making your mark on the world is hard. If it were easy, everybody would do it. I quote Barack Obama. The sweetest corn come from the smallest field. I quote Emmanuel Ingram. Congratulations.
Here today, my son-in-law, Sergeant Major Jimmy Thomas, T. Thomas, the MC, of this great venue, to the family, friends, and associates of the honoree, and each of you out there in your respective place, I am Sherry Jones, Jimmy's mother-in-law. Jamisa is my daughter. Just want to speak a few words, first from a renowned poet by the name of Rudyard Kipling, titled If. Now bear with me.
Take your time.
If you can keep your head when all about you is losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about but not dealing lies, or being hated but don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor walk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thought your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth that you have spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things that you've given your life to broken and can stoop to build them up and worn with the worn out tools that you have, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve you and serve your term long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can walk with the crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and not lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count to you, but not too much, none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds of disrun, yours is the earth and everything in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. If you can walk among thieves with honor, knowing there is no honor among thieves, you'll cover the trees, not to mention the leaves. Last but not least, I'm proud of you, my son. I'm proud of you, my daughter. I'm proud of your accomplishments together, Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy T. Thomas. In closing, I just want to say, keep faith, finish the course, fight a good faith, and run on to the end. God got a blessing for you. Thank you.
We're proud to be here today. I remember those years. I'm younger than Jimmy, but I went to the military before Jimmy. And I went to his basic training graduation. I was an E5 already. You know, I didn't make him do push-ups. I didn't make him do any of that stuff. He'll tell you I did, but I didn't. But it's profound that I was here when he started and here that he's ended it. I don't have to say too much about what everybody been said, but we get up on the same sentiments, you know. Our parents are gone, but we have been close, and he's definitely been the glue of the family. Not as just military. You know, I'm proud, you know, when he kept going, you know, when he kept re-enlisting, and I was like, I'm out. But, you know, it was good that he stuck with something, you know, he picked something, stuck with it, you know, and 30 years later, you know. But I want to say this, to forget, when you're in the military and you're married, your wife is just as much in the military as you are. And they are doing everything you go through. When you leave them by themselves and you go into harm's way, they are also feeling that separation. So Jamisha, to you, my sister-in-law, great job hanging in there with him, you know. Our brother can be difficult at times, you know, but I thank y'all, and I think all these gentlemen here, as I look at these stars on his shoulder and we see how far the black man has came in this society, you know. And I see how close they are as not just a genuine concern, how they come up, you know, stay late at night, getting everything ready, and they come and traveling from different states, you know, different places, you know, and I think that testimony shows your character, how people care for you, you know. And we want to definitely to be blessed in your next journey in your life, you know. You know, your dash is not finished yet. You know, finish the race. You know, you came this far along, finish the race. And I think that I want to say this in closing. When you're in the military, you gain additional family members. You gain additional, not friends, but family. We don't call them family. He said already. And you see that here tonight. That these are not your co-workers. These are your friends. It's your family, your extended family. And I thank y'all for coming out. Everybody come out tonight. Amen. So let's have fun.
Amen.
But anyway, it is a blessing that you made 30 years. All military folks, they go out and they leave, the department, Afghanistan, different places, and a lot of soldiers don't come back. So I mean, it's a blessing, that they made it, safe and come back. The family word, and I just like to say, I'm proud of all military people. Thank you.
I like to run my mouth, so it's not about me tonight. Okay. But I do want to give my cousin another round of applause for his speech. Great job. Anybody knowing, he was gonna knock that out of the park. But a word about Jimmy. Me and Jimmy's been like glue since this. And I wouldn't dare come here tonight without saying a few words. Everybody in this room can get up here and say something, but a lot of times it's not what you say, it's what you do. If you do it, you won't have to say it. So he knows that I love him to life. We've been together for a long time, extremely long time. And this accomplishment, don't seem like it's been 30 years. We use the quote that seemed like it was yesterday, but it's been 30 years. 30 years, a long time. I tried to get him to retire at 20 to get him back this way, but he wouldn't do it. But I'm extremely proud of you, happy for you, the accomplishments, the things you've done, the places you've been, how we have been, from, I say, this place, this point to this point now, and never change. Love you, you know that, so we'll talk later. All right.
I didn't get the opportunity to serve with Mr. Thomas. I can say Mr. now because he's retired. I did 22 years, so I didn't get the opportunity to serve with Jim, but from my understanding and talking to some people that did serve, he was a great soldier, and his leadership speaks for itself. All right. I do have one other person I want to bring up. You didn't. I don't know if you put him on the agenda. You did.
Yep. Mr. Jimmy Dale. I'm good.
Anyway, Jimmy, great accomplishment. 30 years, a long time, but you've done a great job, man. And I hope you and your family continue to grow from this point on. Don't let your head down. Stay strong, and you'll be able to do what I do. Nothing.
Doing this afternoon. Look here, I ain't got too much to say about Jimmy. Jimmy always have been a pretty good fella. We kind of grew up together out there in the country. His mom and mama was like sisters, so he's a pretty good fella, man. I mean, in 1989, was it 1989 when Jimmy first went in the Army, and I was already a drill sergeant on the trail. And Jimmy come, when I first heard he was down there by his mama, they told me to go look for him, so I found Jimmy. And even though we grew up together, he didn't want to talk to me when I first met him. It was something about that drill sergeant had that kind of intimidated him. But I told Jimmy, I said, hey man, we still family regardless, Even though he was a private just coming in the Army, and I was already a staff sergeant, he just didn't want to talk to me at all. But I told Jimmy to relax, and some of Jimmy's drill sergeant that went to school with me. And I just told him, hey man, y'all take care of I call him my brother, because that's the way it always seems to me. Y'all take care of my brother. And not only did they take care of him, they lightened his load for KP, and everybody know that being in the Army, KP ain't something you want. But he pretty much got out of fire guard and everything, If you've been in the Army, fire guard ain't what you want either. But, Jimmy, like I told him, after I talked to him, and, that's probably one of the last times that I saw him in the Army, but like I told Jimmy, I love Jimmy, and, we always have been like brothers, and, now that his son is over there working with me, I really can tell Jimmy he owed me a whole lot of money for paying him. I just want to tell Jimmy congratulations, and thank everyone for coming out tonight and supporting him.
Thank you.
Additionally, 30 days in, we got a no-notice warning that we're headed to take our soldiers to Kuwait in lieu of going up to Iraq, back there. Oh my goodness. It got real very, very quick. And we had some late nights, long days, but never, never did we falter. And it breaks my heart to see that you go, but I know, you want that next chapter and it's ready for you. Tons of ideas, businesses, all that. You're gonna do this. So, congratulations, Shamisik. Congratulations, always being by his side. I love you guys.
To have crossed paths with Sergeant Major Thomas. We met down at the academy, so it's been a short period that we've been together, but it seemed like it's been a long time. And I really appreciate you cooking for me while we was down there. Gained about 30 pounds around with JT. But I would say this, that he's truly a caring individual, genuine, warm-hearted, and he has a love for people. You know, I just remember when we were down there at the academy, all of us would be out in different classes studying, but you know, it took on a certain dynamic to where, you know, certain individuals gelled together, and some of those people that gelled together are here today, and we made sure that we made it through. And I never forget, I'll be down in my apartment studying, and then maybe a Sunday or a Saturday, I get this phone call that's like, "Hey, Motown, what you doing?" And I say, "Man, you know what I'm doing, I'm hitting these books." He said, "Well, I'm finished cooking, so come on down and get you something to eat." And then when I get down there, you know, it's a lot of us in there making sure we made it through. And I really appreciate you, brother, for looking out for me. You ain't know me from a man in the moon, but we just bonded, and I love you like my brother. And I just wanted to say that, ask that God continue to bless you and your family. May his face shine upon you, and may you continue to do wonderful and great things. Bless you, brother.
So, I'm gonna start off with this. When you see a leader, they teach you the 3 B's of giving a speech. Be brief, be funny, be gone. So, with that said, I met Sergeant Major JT at the Army's Academy. And you can attest with everyone that's in here, he has that likability factor. He's easy to like, very likable person. And a lot of people think that when you're in a leadership position, it's because of the stuff you have on your shoulder, the noise you make, all that yelling and screaming. It's ingrained in your, it's ingrained in your DNA, your NSCO. But the leaders, you take that star off, that diamond off. You don't have none of that stuff on you, but people are still drawn to you. That's the essence of a leader. They want to be around you. They want to be supported by you. And I appreciate you allowing me to be in your circle of trust and your friends. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak.
Oh, yeah. I just said.
Love you, man. Love you.
I'd like to say congratulations to my husband, Sergeant Major Jimmy Thomas, Jr. Job well done, sir, and I'm very proud of you. For those of you who don't know, I met my husband 10 years ago in Augusta, Georgia. He was stationed at Fort Gordon. And at that time, he had been in the military 20 years already. And he had told me he was retiring then. So here am I, 10 years later, 3 states later, saying happy retirement to my husband. Next, I would like to thank our mom for being here with us today. Thanks for all you do, Mama. You've always been so supportive since day one. And just in case y'all don't know, she loves Sergeant Major Jimmy Thomas. Sometimes I wonder if he's the son or if I'm the daughter, but it's all the same. It's a military thing, yeah, because it is retired Sergeant Sherry McCain, so thank you, Mama. Thank you to Command Sergeant Major Ricky Jackson. Yes, he is the master of the ceremony. He's doing an awesome job. Yes. We love you, Ricky, and we are going to miss you so much. Ricky and his lovely wife, Judy Jackson, are PCS into Kansas, and we're going to be so sad because they're our good, good friends. So thank you so much. We're going to miss you so much. Again, thanks for hosting this event and helping behind the scenes in a way that meant so, so, so very much to us. Thank you. To the speaker, Mr. Emmanuel Ingram. Where is he? Oh, no, he need to hear this. Well, we'll wait on that. All right, I'll wait on that. To our brother, oh, Emmanuel Ingram. To the speaker, Mr. Emmanuel Ingram, better known as Bobo. We love you, and we thank you so much. You did an awesome job. When I was in doubt, you proved me wrong today. And we will continue our conversation about that extra ice, okay? To our brother, Pastor Ronald Thomas, who has always been so supportive of my husband's career. Always show up, no matter how far, from day one. He came all the way to Augusta, Georgia. It doesn't matter where Jimmy is, Ronald is always present. And I just want to say thank you to him for being so supportive of my husband's career. A very special thanks to the ones who helped me make all this possible today, working behind the scenes with me. My lovely friend Judy Jackson, Command Sergeant Major Ricky Jackson's wife. Our cousin Linda Jones, who always come no matter how far we are as well. Thank you so much. Our niece Tony Hart, who is just, oh Tony, we love you. She just do whatever, step in, jump in, help out. Thank you so much, Tony. To our sister Sabrina Thomas, the same spirit as Tony, always doing whatever she can to help out. Whenever me and my husband got married, it was my first time really meeting her. She came in and started doing stuff like we had known each other forever. So thank you, sister. We appreciate it. To Christy Cooper, our niece, as well, the same spirit. Thank you so much for all you've done to help me with this ceremony today. Behind the scenes, we appreciate you. And also, Samantha Cooper, who decorated this lovely place. Thank you so much, Samantha. I appreciate that. And also a huge thank you to all of our family and friends that have made the journey today to get here. Life is so busy and filled with so many things, so I don't take it lightly that all of you came to celebrate my husband. My husband knows and loves so many people. I had to get used to that. And so many people knows and loves my husband. So unlike you all, some could not make it here today. So I reached out. And y'all, that was not an easy task because my husband is so inquisitive. So while I was asking for numbers and names of this person and that person, why you want this? Why you want that? So the reason why I wanted that, because I wanted to reach out